So this is our talent of today and tomorrow. I just want to ask you all, how did you get to this point today?
When I first started, I had no idea what HTML was, but now I know, so I'm really happy with this program and what it's taught me.
Who brought you? Did you see a flyer? And how did you actually arrive at Black Girls Code?
Well, I started off, my mom made me. Like, I got out of bed for no reason to come to this program, and then I started to love it.
Fantastic. Sasha, how about you?
So when I first started Black Girls Code, I had friends who were in this organization, and they were telling my mom about it, and she's like, oh, Sasha, we gotta go. So I came one day, and we were building websites, and I got so into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I built a website. And so ever since then, I've loved coding.
Terrific. George, how about you?
My close friend Desmond brought me to the Brothers Code event in Oakland in 2013. I never thought I would be liking technology. I never thought I'd start coding. I never thought I'd build websites, make mobile applications. Never thought I could change the world with technology.
You mean to tell me that Brothers Code was the first time that you actually put your hands on a computer to start some coding? Time. Wow. So this was in December of 2013 as part of National Computer Science Education Week, an hour of code. So these young men who attended essentially had 1 hour to walk through basic coding modules. That's where it started. Amazing. Fantastic.
Thank you.
And sir, Isaiah. Yes, sir. How about you and your introduction to this coding, this world of coding?
My mom told me to fill out this application for this group called the Hidden Genius Project, and I didn't really know what that was. But I filled out the application, and then I made it to the interview stage, and I didn't know anything about computer programming, and I was really afraid because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But the main thing is that I got exposed to it, and once I saw what you could do with coding, I started to like it, and that's how I got introduced to coding.
Fantastic. Also, shout out to the moms for the initial step, mothers, yes. So now that you're in this sector, you all are ambassadors of sorts. How do you talk to your friends, your peers, other students about this coding work?
I just pretty much break it down for them, and they were like, wow, Sasha, now we kind of fully understand what you go through, and this is amazing.
Do they look at you as a leader around tech and coding because you were the first one kind of in?
I feel like a little bit like a leader. I'm not trying to brag, but I do. It's nice.
This is a safe space. You can brag. You can brag. You can brag. Yeah, brag, Sasha. Jasmine, George, Isaiah.
I would just say you should try it because everyone who goes to the coding program ends up loving it a lot.
Fantastic.
I tell my friends after a hackathon, I tell my friends I was at this awesome place where I got to make applications, meet amazing people, code so much. I learned HTML, Ruby, and they're like, what is that? What do you mean? And then I'd go on code.org and then show them what it really is, what it can do, and they're like, oh, I get it.
The door is open now, so what do you think? Where does your path go?
I want to become an engineer. I want to own my own tech company by 18. I want to tackle racism.
Oh, hold on, because I want people to hear that. What?
I want to tackle racism with technology.
Well, we need you now, so... And Mr. Isaiah, how do you convince others?
I think the best way you could convince someone is to expose them to something, because people always say I hate this or I hate that, but I say, how do you hate something when you haven't tried it before? So when they use all of these products like Facebook, tech's really big right now. Most people are exposed to it. So when they can see how to make it and see that it's not as hard as you think, and see that it teaches you how to think critically and become a problem solver, not just a coder, that's how you can start to like it.
And career for you?
I plan to go to Cornell and double major in business and computer science, and then start a tech company, and then if that doesn't work, become a computer programmer and work my way up until I'm a CEO of a big tech company.
Fantastic. Okay. You all are hearing dreams being born tonight. Y'all, what's the hardest thing that you have done with coding? You start.
I'd say the hardest thing I've ever done with coding was working on my first project, because I wasn't that good at coding, and there are things that I still needed to learn, so I had to go out on my own and research and learn how to do these things and then apply those skills that I've learned into my project. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. And once I got that down, you can pretty much do anything. As long as you're able to research and learn something and then apply it, then you can pretty much do anything.
Wow. Yes, sir.
How to incorporate all the research and data you get from the internet and incorporate it to whatever app or website or social network you're making.
Were you working on something specific?
Yes.
Or that's just...
This was my very first project, Connect the Dots. It was for connecting African American private school students in predominantly white private schools to help each other and inspire each other.
Fantastic. Yes. Thank you.
The hardest thing for me was using the application Python. I didn't really get all the HTML aspects of this program, and I still don't get it, but I'm getting better at it every day, practicing.
So, y'all don't sleep. She said Python. Fantastic. Keep the work up.
So the hardest thing was the idea process, trying to find a good app to incorporate that with technology and help actually apply it to real life and apply it to the world so you can help change and make a difference and help real problems in our world. So that's the main point of technology, and we can't abuse that. We need to make sure we own it.
We have to make sure we own it. Yes. I want to ask you all, imagine you have in the front row Tim from Pandora, Eric from Google, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, and other tech leaders. What would you ask of them to ensure that your pathway into the industry is going to allow you to maximize your talents?
To be more inclusive with African Americans in their companies. Because I wouldn't be able to get into Facebook, have a programming job or anything if they don't change their percentages in minorities.
Any thoughts about what they might do?
To reach out and create programs just like Kino Labs, just like Yes We Code, programs like that to piggyback on them, to help with them, to encourage, to share on social media.
Speak. Thank you. Other ideas, other questions, other demands?
I totally agree with that. Like these big companies that are already out there that everyone knows, Google, Facebook, Pandora, like everyone, all those places, I want them to include us. I want them to include women. I want them to do other things. I want them to raise technology, make it better, make it safer for all of us. They know the problems out there. They need to make a difference too.
Right on, yes.
Well, companies like Google and Facebook, they're very powerful, and they're also very progressive and liberal companies. But according to the demographics, there's only 2% of African Americans at Google and Facebook. They need more diversity, because if they want to take the next step in being progressive, then diversity has to be the next thing, because with diversity you get different experiences and you get different mindsets and you get different people, so that brings different ideas and different approaches with how to progress your business. So they can do that by funding programs that are already out there to help African Americans and other minorities and women be ready for the tech community, or they could make programs of themselves to do that, because they have enough power and enough wealth to make effective, successful companies that could do that in a short amount of time.
Thank you, Isaiah. Yes.
Also, for those kind of companies, they have the power to reach out to African Americans, to bring them in, to include them, but they choose not to. I would ask them, why is that? Why aren't they trying to bring us in, trying to make us also have great jobs in tech industry.
I would actually really love to have them answer these questions in some way. I think that would be really intriguing. I do know that companies are really trying to work hard on making sure that there's better representation, because many of them were quite embarrassed last year when they started to reveal their diversity data and saw that they had such small percentages. But the fact that you all are aware of it and are demanding that they do better means a lot, so keep demanding. Ladies and gentlemen, our tech talent, Sasha, Jasmine, George, Isaiah.